Sophie, I want to start today with a moment, a very specific moment. I have witnessed it personally more times than I can count, and I want everyone listening to see if they recognize it either from being on the giving end or from being on the receiving end.
Okay, walk us in.
You are in a professional meeting. There is a discussion happening, real content, real strategy, real problem solving. And in the middle of this discussion, an advanced English learner speaks up, and they say something like, well, when it comes to this decision, I think we need to bite the bullet and just move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, there is a small pause in the room, almost imperceptible, but it's there. The native speakers around the table register something slightly off. Not wrong, not incorrect, just slightly off key, slightly performed, slightly like a phrase that was consciously deployed rather than naturally spoken. And the conversation moves on, but the learner has just unknowingly taken a small hit to their perceived fluency.
And they have no idea.
No idea, because they spent an entire evening last week studying idioms on Anki. They memorized bite the bullet. They memorized hit the nail on the head. They memorized the ball is in your court. They memorized raining cats and dogs. They memorized 50 of them. They are proud of them. They feel like these idioms are the trophies of their advanced English journey.
And so they deployed them regularly in meetings, in emails, in casual chats. Every time they force one of these idioms into a conversation, they think they're demonstrating fluency, when in reality, they are demonstrating the exact opposite because the timing is off, the register is off, the context is off, and native speakers can feel it even if they cannot name what they are feeling.
And here is what almost no advanced English resource is willing to tell learners. Memorizing rare, colorful, cinematic idioms is not the path to fluency. It is often the path away from it.
And this idea is going to make a lot of people angry because idiom study is one of the most sacred cows of advanced English learning. Learners have been sold this idea for decades that mastering idioms is what separates advanced learners from truly fluent speakers.
And it is completely wrong.
Completely wrong. True fluency is not about the size of your idiom collection. True fluency is about the precision with which you use ordinary words, about the confidence with which you deploy simple language, about the accuracy of your everyday phrasing. And decorative idioms, dropped into conversations where they do not belong, do the opposite. They signal that the speaker is performing English rather than living in it.
And today we are going to expose this completely. We are going to explain the vocabulary hoarder pattern that traps so many advanced English learners. We are going to walk through why forced idioms damage your perceived fluency instead of enhancing it. We are going to introduce the precision principle, which is the actual foundation of native-sounding English. And we are going to give you the precision practice protocol that shifts your energy from collecting idioms to mastering the ordinary language you already have.
Welcome to Side by Side English Podcasts. I'm Mark. I'm Sophie. Today is going to be controversial. It is going to make some traditional English learners uncomfortable, and that is fine, because the point of this channel has never been to repeat what everyone else says. The point has always been to tell you what actually works. And today, we are going to tell you the truth about idioms that most English content will not.
Stay with us. We have the vocabulary hoarder diagnosis explained, the specific ways rare idioms damage native-sounding fluency, the precision principle in full, the 3 marks of genuine fluency, the precision practice protocol, a role play showing the idiom dropper versus the precision speaker on the same content, and a word tour with 6 powerful B2 to C1 words.
Quick comment question before we begin. Be honest. Do you keep a list of English idioms you are trying to learn and use? Drop a yes or no. And especially if this episode makes you angry, drop a comment. We want to hear both sides.
Okay, let's have the fight. So, Sophie, let's start with the diagnosis. Who is the vocabulary hoarder?
The vocabulary hoarder is a very specific type of advanced English learner, extremely disciplined, extremely serious about English, usually reading widely, using Anki, keeping notebooks, listening to advanced podcasts, and their central goal, often unconscious, is to collect rare, colorful, impressive-sounding pieces of English. Idioms, metaphors, sophisticated adjectives, vintage phrases from novels or old movies, cultural references.
And the assumption is, if I know enough of these rare pieces, my English will move from advanced to native-like.
Exactly. The vocabulary hoarder believes that fluency is a function of collection size, that the person with the biggest idiom collection wins, and every new idiom feels like a small victory, a step closer to sounding truly native.
But what actually happens when they try to use these collected idioms in real conversations?
What actually happens is, in the vast majority of cases, the idioms come out awkwardly, and here's the mechanical reason why. Native speakers use idioms too, of course they do, but they use them sparingly in very specific contexts with very specific timing, and most of the idioms native speakers actually use in modern professional and casual conversation are extremely ordinary.
Get it done, push back, follow up, on the same page, reach out, wrap up, hop on a call. These are the working idioms of modern English, almost invisible, not colorful, not dramatic, not the ones that get taught in idiom books.
And meanwhile, the idioms that get taught in idiom books, raining cats and dogs, hit the nail on the head, the ball is in your court, let the cat out of the bag, are used dramatically less often by actual native speakers in real modern conversation. Some of them are used only rarely, some of them are used only ironically, and some of them are essentially museum pieces at this point.
Museum pieces.
Museum pieces, phrases that native speakers know exist that they might use once every few years in the right context for humor, but that they would never deploy seriously in a modern professional meeting.
So when a learner drops one of these into a conversation, they are essentially quoting an old film in the middle of a strategy discussion, which does not sound fluent. It sounds odd.
And this is what native speakers pick up on without being able to explain the mismatch between the register of the idiom and the register of the conversation, a dramatic 1950s idiom deployed in a 2025 sales meeting. A register clash is what breaks the perception of fluency.
Let's actually break down the 3 specific ways hoarded idioms damage your fluency, because I want learners to see the mechanics clearly.
Yes, 3 specific damage patterns.
Damage pattern 1, register mismatch. Every idiom carries a specific register, a specific era, a specific level of formality, a specific emotional flavor. And when you deploy an idiom without matching all of these to the moment, you create dissonance. Bite the Bullet carries a specific, dramatic, wartime-oriented register, and when you drop it into a discussion about which vendor to use for next quarter's marketing campaign, the register clashes with the moment, and the listener feels the mismatch even if they cannot name it.
Damage pattern 2, performance leakage. When you deploy a memorized idiom, there is often a small perceptible signal in your delivery that this phrase was retrieved rather than generated, a tiny hesitation before it, a slight over-articulation of it, a small pride in landing it. And this performance leakage is what signals to the listener that the phrase came from an Anki flashcard, not from natural speech, which subtly undermines the perception of fluency.
Damage pattern 3, opportunity cost. This is the least obvious but most important one. Every hour you spend memorizing rare idioms is an hour you didn't spend building precision with the ordinary language you already know. And ordinary language, mastered precisely, produces dramatically more fluent-sounding English than rare language deployed awkwardly.
So the vocabulary hoarder is not just gaining little from their idiom study, they are also losing a lot by not doing what actually works. 3 damage patterns: register mismatch, performance leakage, opportunity cost. Together, they explain why the vocabulary hoarder often plateaus and never actually moves from advanced to fluent, no matter how many idioms they collect.
Which brings us to the precision principle, the actual foundation of native-sounding English. And once you understand this principle, the entire idea of hoarding idioms starts to feel obviously backwards.
Yes, define it clearly.
The precision principle says this: native-sounding fluency comes from using ordinary, common English words with absolute precision, in the right timing, with the right register, and with confident delivery. It does not come from collecting rare vocabulary. It comes from mastering common vocabulary.
And this is the counterintuitive truth of advanced English, that the closer you get to native fluency, the more you notice that native speakers, in most contexts, use surprisingly ordinary words. The words are simple, the sentences are simple, but every choice is precise. Every timing is natural. Every register is right. And that precision is what creates the feeling of fluent, native-like English.
And the vocabulary hoarder has been chasing the wrong game. They have been trying to add exotic words to their collection when they should have been adding depth of use to the common words they already have. And this is a completely different type of practice.
Let's actually name the 3 marks of genuine fluency, because if learners can see what native speakers are actually doing, they can reorient their practice.
Yes, 3 marks.
Mark 1. Extreme precision with common words.
Native speakers pick between run, sprint, jog, dash, bolt, and race with total automatic precision, not because they memorize synonyms, because they have used each one thousands of times and know exactly which one fits which moment. The learner who focuses on precision practice with common words builds this same instinct, and their English starts to sound native, even with a small vocabulary, because the small vocabulary is being used precisely.
Mark 2. Confident, unhurried delivery.
Native speakers do not rush their common words. They let simple sentences land. They pause, they breathe, they let the ordinary language do its work without adding decoration. And this unhurried delivery is one of the strongest fluency signals in existence. It says, I trust my English. I do not need to prove anything with rare vocabulary. The ordinary is enough.
Mark 3. Zero performance signal.
Native speakers never sound like they are performing English. Their words come out because they are the words that fit the moment, not because they were retrieved from a memorized list. And this zero performance signal is what separates truly fluent speech from advanced but performed speech. And it is achievable only through precision practice, not through idiom collection.
3 marks. Precision, unhurried delivery, zero performance signal. If these are the marks of genuine fluency, then the practice that builds them is entirely different from the practice of collecting rare idioms.
Let's give the audience the precision practice protocol, because I know some learners are going to want to know, well, what should I do instead of studying idioms? And we should give them a real answer.
Yes, 3 practices. Each one targets a different aspect of precision.
Practice 1, the synonym choice exercise.
Take a common English verb, adjective, or noun, something you use every day. Say, good person. Now find its close cousins. Say has tell, mention, explain, state, note, add, remark. Good has solid, strong, reliable, decent, effective. Person has guy, individual, someone, one, and practice choosing between them for specific micro situations.
For example, would you say he said, or he mentioned, or he added in a specific context? Different situations call for different choices, and practicing the choice out loud in specific sentences builds the precision that native speakers have automatically. 10 minutes a day of this practice on one common word builds more real fluency than an hour of idiom flashcards.
Practice 2, the register matching exercise.
Take a common sentence structure. Now practice saying it at different levels of formality. Can you send me the report? Formal version. Would you be able to send me the report at your convenience? Casual version. Send me the report when you get a chance. Direct casual version. Shoot the report over when you can. Ultra casual version. Hey, can I get eyes on that report? All of these are correct. All of them fit different moments. And the register matching exercise builds the ear for which one fits which situation.
And this is what native speakers do automatically. They shift registers between meetings, emails, and casual chats without thinking. Practicing this deliberately for 10 minutes a day builds the same instinct.
Practice 3, the natural idiom substitution exercise.
This is the practice that directly replaces the idiom hoarding pattern. Take a fancy idiom from your Anki deck, something like the ball is in your court. Now, practice saying the same meaning in 3 ordinary ways that native speakers actually use. It's your call now. I'll leave it to you. You've got the next move on this.
And notice all three ordinary versions sound more natural in a modern professional context than the original idiom does, because they use ordinary words in a precise way, which is what actual native speakers do. And by practicing this substitution, you shift your reflex away from reaching for the memorized idiom and toward reaching for the natural common phrasing.
3 practices: synonym choice, register matching, natural idiom substitution, 10 minutes a day total across all 3, which is far less time than most vocabulary hoarders currently spend on idiom flashcards, and produces dramatically better fluency results.
Okay, let's do a role play. Sophie, set the scene. I'll set it. We are going to hear the same speaker answer the same question in a team meeting. First in vocabulary hoarder mode, forcing idioms, then in precision principle mode, using ordinary language precisely, so the audience can hear directly which one actually sounds fluent.
Okay, the question from the team lead is, what do you think about pushing back the launch date?
Version 1, vocabulary hoarder mode.
Well, I think we need to bite the bullet on this one. If we push back the launch, we could really open a can of worms with the sales team. And honestly, at the end of the day, the ball is in the executive team's court. But we should hit the ground running with what we have, because time is of the essence.
And let me count what just happened in that answer. Bite the bullet, open a can of worms. At the end of the day, the ball is in their court. Hit the ground running, time is of the essence. 6 memorized idioms deployed in about 20 seconds of speech, and listen to how it sounds. It sounds like a person who is trying to prove they have advanced English, not like a person who is thinking clearly about the launch decision.
And listeners hearing this, even if they cannot name what feels off, register the density of idioms as a signal of effort rather than fluency. It reads as performance, not as natural speech.
Now version 2, same speaker, same content, same English level, 2 completely different perceived fluency levels, created by the difference between hoarded idioms and precision with ordinary language, which is the difference between chasing decoration and building real mastery.
Honestly, I think pushing it back is the right move. If we launch when we're not ready, sales is going to be dealing with issues for months. The executive team is the one who has to sign off. But from our side, I'd rather delay 2 weeks and get it right than rush it and clean up problems for the next quarter.
And listen to that. 0 idioms, 0 decoration, just ordinary words chosen precisely. Pushing it back. Sales is going to be dealing with issues. Sign off. From our side, get it right, clean up problems.
And the second version sounds dramatically more fluent than the first version. Because the words are used with precision, the register matches a modern professional context perfectly, the delivery is unhurried, there is no performance signal. This is what actual native-sounding professional English sounds like, and it uses almost no vocabulary that a solid B2 learner does not already have.
Same speaker, same content, same English level. 2 completely different perceived fluency levels, created by the difference between hoarded idioms and precision with ordinary language, which is the difference between chasing decoration and building real mastery.
Word tour?
Word tour.
First word, precision. Precision means exactness, accuracy, the quality of choosing the right thing with confidence. It is the central word of today's episode, and it is what actually produces native-sounding fluency, not the size of your vocabulary.
For example, real fluency comes from precision with common words, not from precision with rare ones. Repeat, precision.
Precision.
Next, ordinary. Ordinary means common, everyday, not special, and it captures the register of the words that native speakers actually use most of the time. Learners often overlook ordinary words because they seem too simple to be worth mastering. But ordinary words, mastered precisely, are the entire foundation of fluent English.
For example, the precision principle rests on the truth that ordinary words used with mastery produce more fluency than rare words used awkwardly. Repeat, ordinary.
Ordinary.
Next, to hoard. To hoard means to collect and store an excessive amount of something, often beyond any real use. And the vocabulary hoarder is exactly this: someone who collects rare English vocabulary far beyond any practical need, believing the collection itself is the point.
For example, vocabulary hoarding is one of the most common traps for advanced English learners because it feels like progress while actually blocking real fluency development. Repeat: hoard.
Hoard.
Next, register. We've used this word before, but it is central to today's episode. Register is the level of formality, era, and emotional tone that a piece of language carries, and matching your register to the moment is one of the most sophisticated skills in advanced English.
For example, every idiom carries a specific register, and using an idiom whose register does not match the moment is one of the fastest ways to sound less fluent, not more. Repeat: register.
Register.
Next, decoration. Decoration is something added purely for appearance, not for function, and it is the perfect word for what hoarded idioms often become in a learner's speech. They are added to try to look more fluent, but they do not serve the actual function of communication, which is why they backfire.
For example, when you use rare idioms as decoration in modern conversations, you signal effort rather than mastery, which is the opposite of fluency. Repeat: decoration.
Decoration.
And finally, mastery. Mastery is the deep, effortless command of something. It's what native speakers have with ordinary words, not because they collected many of them, because they've used the same common words thousands of times in thousands of specific situations until the use became automatic.
For example, real English fluency is built on mastery of ordinary vocabulary, not on the size of your rare vocabulary collection. Repeat: mastery.
Mastery.
6 words today: precision, ordinary, hoard, register, decoration, and mastery. Every one of these is a real, modern, useful English word that captures something specific about the difference between advanced and truly fluent English.
And every one of them is a word you'll hear in real conversations about skill, learning, and craft.
Sophie, one final takeaway for everyone watching: that the path to fluency is not the path you've been told. It's not through collecting rare, colorful, cinematic idioms. It's not through building a bigger and bigger vocabulary that impresses in flashcards, but backfires in real conversations. It's through mastering the ordinary language you already have, choosing common words with precision, delivering simple sentences with confidence, matching your register to the moment, and letting the actual content of what you say do the work without decoration.
And the version of you who has been hoarding idioms is not going to become fluent by adding more idioms. That path is closed. The version of you who is going to become fluent is the one who realizes that the ordinary language you already have is the raw material of real fluency and stops chasing rare vocabulary as if it were the prize, and redirects all the energy that used to go into memorizing colorful phrases and to deepening the precision of the common phrases you use every day.
And when you make that shift, something surprising happens. Your English starts to sound dramatically more fluent to native speakers, even though your vocabulary size did not grow, because the perceived fluency has almost nothing to do with vocabulary size, and almost everything to do with the precision, register, and delivery of the vocabulary you already have.
So today, we are giving you permission to stop hoarding, to close the idiom Anki deck, to stop treating rare phrases like trophies, and to redirect your practice toward the boring, unglamorous, extraordinarily powerful work of using ordinary English with mastery, which is what actually produces fluent speech in the real world.
Small challenge before we go. For the next 7 days, don't add a single new idiom to your vocabulary, not one. Instead, pick 3 common English verbs you use every day: say, go, do. For each one, list 4 to 6 close cousins you already know but rarely use, and each day deliberately choose the most precise cousin for each situation you find yourself in, even in your inner thoughts.
And notice what happens. Notice how the precision practice starts to feel like a puzzle you enjoy solving. Notice how your English speech, without adding new vocabulary, starts to feel more textured, more adult, more native. Notice how your writing improves too, because precision spreads across all your English output.
And drop a comment after the week. Tell us which 3 verbs you practiced with. Tell us if anyone noticed a shift in your English. Tell us if you feel differently about idiom collection now. We want to hear the honest reflections.
Because the moment a learner realizes that the ordinary language they already have is the raw material of real fluency and stops chasing rare vocabulary as if it were the prize, the entire trajectory of their English journey shifts. Progress accelerates, confidence deepens, and the fluency they were promised by idiom study finally arrives through the door they were told to ignore.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Mark. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to consider an idea that goes against decades of English learning advice.
Master the ordinary, skip the decoration. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.